Hello again, welcome back to the second week of my project. Sorry this video is kind of late, but I've been pretty busy over the last few days, so let us begin. Monday, May 9th. First thing, I decided to try and get the ore generation to work. There's really not a whole lot to talk about in terms of that. It took like 2 hours to get right, and basically now rust ore generates in the nether. I made it about as rare as quartz, and I also decided it'd be cool if obsidian spawned in the nether, so I also did that. I made it spawn in blackstone and basalt, so it pretty much only spawns in the basalt deltas biome. I then decided to add a chainsaw, basically just because I wanted to add a reference to Chainsaw Man. So I modeled it, textured it, made a tool tier, made an axe, there it is. I also decided that it would be made using a chainsaw blade, a chainsaw engine, and 2 chainsaw handles, which will be crafted in, I don't know, some way. The chainsaw blade can also be used as a sword. I also decided that I wanted to try and make pretty much a whole tier of devil tools and weapons, and maybe even armor if I have time, so I also made a scythe to use as a hoe, and that took the rest of the day. Tuesday, May 10th was when I decided to start thinking about what mobs to add. Currently I plan to add 3 mobs in the form of devils. Blood Devil, which spawns in the Crimson Forest, the Chaos Devil, which spawns in the Warped Forest, and the Withered Devil, which spawns in Soul Sand Valleys. The first one I decided to make was the Blood Devil, so I modeled it, gave it skin, threw all that into the code. I'll figure out how to animate it with GeckoLib later, because that's going to take a while to figure out how to do. I then spent a solid hour trying to figure out 3 lines of code that make it aggressive, and this was my live reaction of it working. Beautiful. It's moments like those where the pure dopamine hit makes the hours and hours of pain, suffering, and confusion almost feel worth it. I spent the whole day making that work. First thing I did on May 11th was try to make it so that the rust ore I made drops XP, like quartz and coal. But I didn't know how to do that, and I couldn't find any tutorial videos on it, so I pretty much had to figure it out entirely on my own without looking it up. It took about an hour, but I eventually figured it out after looking at the vanilla classes for like coal and quartz. I then decided to work on the second mob, which was the Withered Devil. Process was pretty much exactly the same as with the Blood Devil. Took the rest of the day to finish. I basically like pasted a skeleton into Blockbench and just made it different. Most of Thursday I worked on stuff that I had been procrastinating on, basically just polishing out stuff that I already had, like, you know, making stuff look better, updating lang files, working out crafting recipes and loot tables, just a bunch of boring nerd stuff that no one wants to hear anything about. The rest of the time I spent working on understanding how to implement GeckoLib into my code. I mentioned it earlier, but for those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, GeckoLib, the lib part stands for library, so it's a library basically, which I don't know if most of you will, I don't know if you guys will understand what that means either. Basically, you can like attach it to the end of your mod if you want to animate stuff more easily. If GeckoLib didn't exist, basically I would have to animate everything using raw code and like math, which is way above my skill level and also my effort level. I don't really know how to code anything in Java outside of the context of like Minecraft modding, so figuring out exactly what I had to do to make GeckoLib like actually work took quite a while, and I'm honestly not 100% sure exactly what I did to make it work, but it did in fact work. And the following clip is my very confused but happy reaction to realizing that it worked. May 13th, worked on this video the whole day, scripted, recorded, edited, and that's the second week of my project. I think I'm making pretty good progress so far, so make sure to like and subscribe, and comment, even if you think this video sucks and I'm horrible at coding and making videos. Comment, tell me, it boosts engagement.